Right. When I first saw this pedal, I thought to myself, great, another Klon clone. I've never really been hyped about Klons or Centaurs. For me, they've always felt more like John Mayer superfan culture. Perfect for blues guys, but not really for guys like me. I've heard plenty over the years, and honestly, they kind of all just blur together. Same circuit, same sound, just a different paint job. But this one caught me completely off guard, because within minutes, I was getting tones I didn't think a Klon-style circuit could even achieve. We're talking everything, from that classic transparent boost style, all the way to crushing high-gain metal riffs. And the weird part, it still feels like a Klon. Don't really know how they've done it, to be honest. But by the end of this video, you're going to be thinking to yourself if you even need your other drive pedals. So thanks to Keeley for supporting the community, sending this over and sponsoring today's video. Now, when you hear Klon clone, you probably think you know exactly what's inside. Gold box, 3 knobs, end of story. But the Manis Overdrive is supposed to be something very different. First impressions. It looks like it means business. Same familiar 3-knob layout we all know, but then you notice these extra switches, and that's where things start to get interesting. These aren't here just for decoration. This is where Keeley's taken the Klon DNA and seriously re-engineered it. We're talking features you don't see on the original or most clones, and they're designed to push this thing way beyond the usual transparent boost territory. So before we even plug it in, here's what makes the Manis different and why it's got me more curious than any other Klon-style pedal I've seen. First, a GE trans switch. That lets you flip between traditional germanium diodes for that smooth Klon sound and Cold War era germanium transistors for more saturation, sustain and compression. Then there's a bass plus switch to fatten up the low end. Perfect if you're running single coils or want extra punch. And here's the kicker. It's also the first Klon-style pedal you can run at up to 18 volts for huge headroom and dynamics. So on paper, it's got the transparency that Klon fans love, but also the muscle to handle heavier tones, maybe even metal. And that's exactly what I'm gonna find out. Before pushing it into heavier territory, I wanted to hear if the Manis could actually pull off those classic Klon tones, because if it can't do that, there's no point calling it a Klon-style pedal. The original Klon Centaur became famous in the 90s for its transparent overdrive, a way of boosting the guitar without smothering its character. It's the kind of sound you hear on everything from classic rock leads to delicate rhythm parts, where the magic comes from how it responds to your playing and your guitar's volume knob. Most players have used it to add just a touch of grit to a clean amp, or to push something already breaking up into its sweetest spot. And unlike a tube screamer, which shapes the mids and cuts some of the lows, the Klon has always felt like it was letting the guitar speak in its own voice. I was using an Ibanez RGA Premium with lower output passive pickups into the EVH 5150 Iconic on the clean channel. Playing through the Manis, I found myself drifting into Queen-style licks and gentle chord picking. It just seemed to bring that side out. And I love being able to roll the guitar's volume back without losing the magic. But what stood out most to me was how it reacted differently to different guitars, always keeping their natural personality intact. And I think that's exactly what made the original Klon so unique in the first place. Then I switched over to my Lepsky Custom with Fishman active pickups, and I kept exploring. It was still the 5150 Iconic on the green channel for this part, but this time the overdrive switch was engaged so it had more bite than the first demo. As I started playing with the Manis' tiny switches, each one shifted the pedal's character without actually changing the natural sound of the guitar or the amp. And as a metal player, I've always been a volume knob on 0 or 10 kind of guy, but here it felt natural to actually ride the volume and use it for dynamics. I found that I could go from a cleaner, edge of breakup tone to a fully overdriven sound without the two feeling like completely different rigs. It made me understand why players like James Hetfield have separate volume controls for the neck and bridge pickups, being able to flick between clean and distorted instantly. I don't have any guitars wired up that way yet, but after this, I definitely see the appeal. It handled everything I threw at it, from drop D Avenged Sevenfold riffs to more melodic parts, and honestly, I enjoyed this versatility way more than using a tube screamer. This pedal clearly has a lot of tricks up its sleeve, and it actually encouraged me to play differently, not just crank everything to 11. Honestly, I loved it, but I didn't get the appeal straight away. When I first plugged it in, I set it up the same way I always set up boost pedals, and it actually came across a little bit overblown and a little bit woofy. I'm so used to boost pedals colouring the tone, so much so that I just reached for my usual settings out of habit. But this pedal actually reminded me to EQ with my ears and not my eyes. I had to really listen to what made the guitar, the amp and the pedal work together, not just slam everything to 11. That's the whole point of gear like this. Hearing the unique character of each piece, not washing it all out and over compressing it with a boost. Once I actually took the time to dial things back in some places and then push in others, I found that sweet spot. And then I kind of just played for hours, riffing, experimenting and getting that real amp feel. I haven't played through an amp head in a while, and after spending so much time with modelers and plugins, it was seriously satisfying to put the 5150 Iconic and the Zilla 2x12 through their paces again. So yeah, for me, the Keeley Manis isn't just a Klon clone. It's a reminder to listen, to adapt, and let the guitar and the amp speak, while still having a pedal that can cover everything from classic transparency all the way to high gain aggression. Definitely one of the most versatile overdrive pedals I've had in a long time. So if you want to find out more about this pedal, check the link in the description below.